Okay, Christy, this is a good question. But if you have repeated incidents that has been deemed bullying by the district, and this is in Ohio, and the bullying has continued, documented 3 times, and has now crossed over onto into online bullying, is this a district issue or law enforcement issue? The child being bullied is special needs. Okay, number one is what documentation? Now, Ohio, I don't know what your bullying prevention legislation or policy is. Okay, I do know that in, let's say, Alabama, for example, because I just did a seminar on this, they adopted an anti-bullying prevention program, and then tucked within it, what it says is that the parent has to fill out the form, the anti-bullying form that is inside every school. All right. Now, many parents don't do that. They write an email and they think that's documentation, or they'll talk to the principal and they think that's documentation. Not according to the anti-bullying policy. It's only if you fill it out on the predetermined form. That is when it's recognized as documentation. So that would be number two. I'm going to assume that that's exactly what happened here, that you had the proper documentation 3 different times with with the same type of bullying going on. Now, on the form, you also have the opportunity on these forms or in the documentation to declare that the bullying was due or suspected to be because of the child's protected status. In this case, it'd be special education. But let's say your child is African American, or your child is, let's say, a raging Satanist, a girl, a protected class. I mean, I can throw boys out there too. I can throw Caucasians out there. I can throw Roman Catholics out there. What I'm saying is, if the bullying is because of, the child's protected status, meaning that they're being bullied and because of the fact that they're special needs, or they're black, or because they're Catholic, or because they're Jewish, or because, name the reason. All right, that would be a protected status. So if you believe that that is the reason or the driving force behind the bullying, then obviously you want to put that on the form, because it does add or enhances and then provides multiple options, not only for your school systems, but for the parents and for law enforcement with regards to how this can be approached to help resolve it. Is it a school district issue, though, if it goes into online? Yes, it's still a school district issue. Okay? But at the same time, it can also be law enforcement. It could also be a federal issue, depending on the nature of the online bullying, because now it's being done over the internet, which goes over state lines, which then goes into the jurisdiction of the FBI, for example. But I would also, involve local law enforcement if that's the case, because at that point, then you can, there's laws on the books now, juvenile laws, for, let's say, harassment, online, criminal codes. They have been created. They're there for this purpose. The school system, though, after a couple, now that you have 3 and now it's extended into online bullying, I've got some concerns with the district's response or lack of response. I'd be wondering why this is continuing to concern after this many documents have been, or this many incident reports have been provided. But of course, I don't know what they've told you, with regards to their investigation and their findings. But law enforcement, absolutely. There's nothing ever prohibiting you from approaching law enforcement, providing this documentation that that it has been reported. The only problem, and make sure that you screenshot anything that is coming through online, so that, and especially, guys, be savvy about what Snapchat does. Get those screenshots immediately. Inform or teach your child how to screenshot so that those things just don't disappear into cyberspace. They are there to protect you. You know, the screenshot, what this bullying, you know, that's evidence. All right. I mean, I'm just trying to answer, or I'm trying to think of another mechanism, but that's the process. Keep us updated.